What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Here, I'm going to use this microphone just because hopefully you can hear me better. And I'm going to wait for some of you guys to come on. Andrea, thanks for joining. What's up? How was your day, Andrea? Andrea, I'm going to wait for some people to come on and then we'll get rolling here. Awesome. Good. Can you hear me okay, Andrea? All right. Yes, mic is perfect. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate it. Thank you for being the first one to join. So I'll just talk to you for right now. Um, First, I'm going to talk about how to conquer. Well, first, I'm going to talk about actually something different. I'm going to talk about why I believe our profession actually is setting us up for failure, and then why we need to be able to conquer our fears and jump into entrepreneurship. And then also, how do we do that? Like, how do you conquer your fears? That's not an easy thing to do, right? So we're going to talk about all those three things tonight. There we go. We've got two. I don't know who just joined. I can't see. Huh. All right. So we're going to talk about those three things. So it's going to be awesome. I told you guys for a reason on the bottom of this that I was pumped for this one for a reason because for those of you that just for those of one of you that just came on, we're going to talk about why I believe our profession sets us up for failure. Number two, why I believe that we need to make the push more to entrepreneurship, and then obviously you need to be able to conquer your fears and overcome your fears to do so. And then how do you actually do that? Like, how do you actually conquer your fears? How do you go through a process that you can actually rely on to take you through that? So we are going to talk about all of that. So I want to start here. I want to start with the simple statement of Kristen. Thanks for joining. I want to start off with the simple statement of I believe that our profession is setting us up for failure as physical therapists. Brian, thank you for watching, man. Our profession is setting us up for failure as physical therapists, and I want to talk about that. Obviously, expand upon that and why I say that. So, why I say that actually. There's a video that's been tossed around all over Facebook today, and it's from Fox News, and it's basically a video about the current state of student loans and education in our country. And so that's really what got me fired up about expanding on this topic more, was the simple fact that we as students, as doctorates of physical therapy, we accrue these massive amounts of loans. Massive amounts of loans. My wife is a physical therapist as well. And so when we came out of school, and we're doing our best to stay on top of this, but it's not like we're cracking into it significantly yet. But we had over $300,000 in student loans between the two of us. And then right after we got out of school, we got married. And so, as a newly married couple, we've got over $300,000 in student loan debt. We're two physical therapists living in the same home. And we quickly found that we're actually having trouble just paying our normal bills on a regular basis. Nevertheless, start really putting money into our student loans. Like, we'll put as much as we can, but coming right out of school, your salary is lower. And we're coming out of school $300,000 in debt. So for those of you that are hopping on, what I'm talking about is I simply feel like our profession currently is the way it's set up. Not I'm not blaming physical therapy. I'm mainly blaming the school systems. But the current way that we have it set up, we are basically being set up for failure. And I say that that to be, obviously that's a profound statement, but I say it for a reason, because we are coming out with immense amounts of debt. No other group of individuals are coming out with more debt than now. I'm 6 years out of school. Some of you may be sooner than that. So it's continuing to rise up. But then what is physical therapy incomes doing? They're leveling off. So education and physical therapy schools are rising, and incomes are leveling off. And the craziest thing is, you guys can do a search right now. You can go to Google and you can type in physical therapy salaries. There are tons of articles out there by the APTA and all of these different places that say, oh, physical therapy, salary on the rise. Like, how long has it been saying that? For years and years and years. But you guys tell me, like, I haven't seen that. I've been a PT for 6 years, but I haven't seen that in 6 years. Have you guys seen a rise? I know PTs that have been PTs for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They haven't seen much of a rise in their income. So where are all of these articles that are supposed to be facts? Where are these coming from and telling people that our salaries are still on the rise? So that's why I say it's setting people up for failure, because people are going into school not necessarily knowing what that entails. New PTs going into school not knowing what that entails. They go into it probably not even knowing that they're going to come out with $150,000 in loans. I didn't. You guys post in the comment section, did you know that you were going to have as many student loans as you did? Either a yes or a no. Just post it in the comment section. I didn't. I had no clue. Like, I didn't know what school was going to cost, because at the time I didn't know. I was just like, I don't know. I got to get this done no matter what. I don't have any help financially, so I just got to use student loans. And so come out with $150,000 in student loan debt, and you're thinking as a new grad that, because all of these articles, even professors will tell you, oh, salaries on the rise. I had one professor in PT school tell me, and this is going to come full circle. I'm not just trying to bash everybody in there, but this is going to come full circle. But I had one professor in PT school tell me, when I asked him about salaries that I could expect when I came out, I'm not shitting you guys. He literally told me this. He said, you will be set for the rest of your life. You will be set for the rest of your life, is what he told me. Now, you guys that are in the profession, Nate, I saw that you just joined. Thanks for watching. I know you're not in a salary PT position yet. But for those of you that are in the profession, like, are you set up for life when you come out of PT school? I mean, I think that was a bit exaggerated by that professor. But I do believe that, PTs aren't getting the full side of the story. And I want people that are going to school to know the full side of the story so that they know what to expect. I don't want, PTs to go into school thinking that they are going to be, yes, you'll be set for life because you'll always have a job. That is the beauty of our profession. You will always have a job. Whether you enjoy that job or not, that's up to you. But you'll always have a job. But are salaries on the rise? I don't know about that. I don't truly believe in that. And I haven't found good statistics to back either way. So I don't know how people can consistently say that PT salary is on the rise. So that's why I say it's setting us up for failure. And so what's the answer for that? That's why I feel like entrepreneurship and physical therapy is becoming on the rise as well, because people are realizing either I'm not satisfied in my job, I don't have the amount of free time that I would like, I'm consistently trading time for money, I am not in the position that I thought I would be as a physical therapist. More and more people are realizing that, and that's for a reason. So, the answer, I think a lot of you, that's why you're on here watching this, is starting your own company, starting your own business. That's been the answer for me. And that's the name of this group, the Concierge Physical Therapist. How do we start a Concierge Physical Therapist that's going to be beneficial for you all and for all of you to truly enjoy what you do and to get paid accordingly, so that we can push away those student loans and not be in debt the rest of our lives, not be in debt for the next 20 years, right? So let's talk about diving into our own business, the number one thing that comes up is fear of failure. In fact, I just did a poll in our group because I wanted to find out what were some specifics that people go through when you're just starting a business and you're just starting and you're in those initial stages. And one of the top ones, I think 10 or 11 people chose this, was fear of failure. And that's why I wanted to talk about this tonight. Fear of failure. And I want you guys to get from this call, I want you to better understand fear and what fear is. So fear is something that is a biological process that our brain, our body gives ourselves to avoid risk, to try to keep our bodies risk averse. That's how great our brain is. But that's what fear is. It's a biological process that your brain's basically trying to say, I want you to avoid all risk possible. Okay? That's what fear is. So knowing that, this is a quote from Brendon Burchard, and I'm going to talk about how he talks about fear a little bit tonight. But he talks about fear is simply bad management of our own mental faculties. So I'm going to say that again. This is by Brendon Burchard. Fear is simply bad management of our own mental faculties. So what does that mean? Fear is basically just bad management of controlling fear. Fear is bad management of actually controlling the fear in your life. We all have the ability to control our own fear in our life, but fear is just simply bad management of those mental processes. And so let's talk about how we can kind of overcome that. I want you guys to be able to overcome it by understanding this next statement. I want you to understand that fear is an excuse not to do something. And I'm going to explain this further. But fear is an excuse to not do something. Fear is an excuse not to start a business. Fear is an excuse not to start a new diet. Fear is an excuse not to do that thing that's on your bucket list. Fear is an excuse to not start that podcast. Fear is an excuse to not do that live stream like we're doing right now. Fear is an excuse for every single one of those because, again, your brain says, you may be fearful of that, so I want to avoid you of all. I want to make sure that you avoid risk at all costs. I want you to avoid anything that's uncomfortable to you because that's your brain's job, is to keep you safe, right? But understand that fear is an excuse not to do something. Have you noticed that when you're fearful of something, that's when all of those what ifs pop up into your head? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if my business fails? What if it doesn't do as good as I thought it would in 3 months? What if I don't know how to sell? What if I don't know how to market? What if I don't know how to do this, and this? So I want you guys to learn and see that challenges and chances in life are a game. And again, I'm going to explain this too. There's a lot to explain tonight. Challenges and chances in life are a game. And it wasn't until I was able to understand this that a lot of things happened for me in my life. But challenges and chances in your life are a game. Life is, I know some people don't like when this is said, but life is simply a game. It really is. And as an entrepreneur, it is a game. Like you want to be able to play the game correctly so that you can win and help others in the process. So if you start looking at challenges and chances in your life as a game and understand that your mind is just playing games against you to avoid you from doing that, then you'll start to be able to overcome it in a lot of different ways. So number one is of basically how to overcome fear is just simply understanding that fear is an excuse for something. Okay? That's number one. Number one is understand that fear is an excuse not to do something. And then let's dive into number two, because this is the biggest part. Number two is commit. When you actually commit to something, when you commit to starting a business, when you commit to taking your significant other out to dinner for Mother's Day, or Father's Day, whichever one it is, you guys know what I mean. when you commit to do something, when you commit to learning how to sell in your practice, when you commit to working with a specific type of niche, when you commit to starting to your practice, I want you guys to start not looking at that lightly. Nate runs our podcast, me and David Bailiff's podcast. When you commit to run a podcast, don't take your commitments lightly. If you don't take your commitments lightly, you're going to have a lot easier time overcoming your fear. But you have to be able to understand that fear is an excuse. And then number two, you must be able to actually commit that you're not going to let your fear get in your way. And the only way to do that is by legitimately committing to yourself that it's not going to be a problem. And then the third, this is the crazy part, and I've had to learn this too because I have fear as well. The third is just simply take action. So as soon as you commit to doing something, the quicker that you can take action, the more likely you're not going to have fear on that original thing. And that's the crazy part is I talk to a lot of physical therapists on a regular basis, and they're like, you know what, maybe I should wait like a few months to start my practice. Maybe I should wait a year, to get more experience to start my practice. I just don't know if I'm ready. Maybe I just need to get this certification first, and then I'll start my practice. And my answer is always the same. Like, we don't need to be wasting time. And the more time you waste, the more excuses and fear that you're going to place into your life. Have you guys ever experienced anything like that? Like, put in the comment section if you've experienced, just put fear in the comment section if you've experienced that. Like, you say, I'm going to push that off, and then it actually creates more excuses and fears as to why you can't do that. And it's because you put it off and you've given yourself more opportunity and more time to actually come up with more excuses and more fear and more what ifs as to why you can't do that. So it's a really simple 3-step process. It's understand that fear is an excuse. Then number two, commit that you're going to overcome that fear and not let it be an excuse. And then number three, take action as quickly as you possibly can. As quickly as you possibly can before you can come up with any excuses. That's how you can overcome fear. So let's talk about, a diet. There's a lot of people that go on diets, and they'll say, it's November, and I'm going to start my diet on January 1st. That is almost setting themselves up for failure, because that is giving them an entire month to figure out all of those reasons in their head why they shouldn't do it. Well, I'm going to have to change my diet. I'm going to have to take this food out and I love that food. I'm going to have to wake up earlier to work out. I'm going to have to work out, and that means I may not be able to see my family as much. And family is the most important thing to me in the world. It gives you all this time to come up with excuses, and then fear starts setting in and becomes just absolutely overpowering. Like, if any of you have ever felt that overpowering feeling of fear, put fear in the comments. And most of the time, it's because we don't take action quick enough. We're not acting quickly enough before that fear really starts to just encapsulate us and overcome us. So those are the 3 ways to basically overcome fear. Okay? Now I want to talk to you guys about why we choose to let fear set in. And this is by Brendon Burchard. This is like, it's such an amazing thing that I had to share it with you guys. So there's 3 types of pain that we experience when we're experiencing fear. And this is the better you guys are educated on this, the more likely you are to be able to blast through your fear and not make it an issue. So the number 1 is loss pain, LOSS, loss pain. And you fear that you might lose something. So for you guys, you fear that you're going to lose your benefits at your job. You fear that you're going to lose a steady paycheck. You fear that you're going to lose predictability in your career path. You fear that you're going to lose those things. And you think of all of those things because you're actually trying to self-sabotage yourself and create ways as to why you should keep yourself from doing it. And the more and more you guys understand how this process works, the better you'll be able to recognize it in your own life and say, no, not today. I'm not letting fear take over me. Just as my shirt says, choose faith over fear. So loss pain is number one, and that's when we fear the loss of something. And so for you guys, again, that's loss of benefits. That's what I hear a lot. Loss of a steady paycheck, loss of predictability in your career path. But those are just excuses because you guys know deep down that most likely you are going to actually have more of those things in your life. Here, just a second. I'm freezing. Okay. So that it's just an excuse because you're going to create more of those things in your life the more and more that you think about it. So loss pain is number one. Number two is process pain. And for you guys, it would be like, this change is going to be really hard. I'm going to have to, this process is going to take a long time to have a successful company. I'm going to have to really work my butt off to make this work. My family and I, we're going to have to change around our finances to make this work. That's process pain, where you're fearing the process. You're fearing the pain of the process. And something I want you guys to understand from this section is that the process is actually what makes you into the person that you need to be to have a successful business. The process that you go through is actually what you need to become the person you need to become a successful business person. We need that process. But for some reason, we fear the process. And so that's called process pain. We fear the pain of going through that process. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the comments if loss pain and process pain make sense. All right, last one is outcome pain. This is, what if I go through all of this and the outcome isn't what I expected? Outcome pain is, what if I go through all of this and this business isn't what I expected it to be? What if the grass isn't greener on the other side? That's process pain. That's outcome pain. You are now fearing the pain of the outcome if it's not the outcome that you want. But again, do any of us have control over that? Do any of us have full control of what we know the outcome is going to be in a year for our business? Yeah, we've got some certain level of control, but no, we can't predict the future. So do you guys understand how outcome pain is actually something we shouldn't be afraid of? Because it's just an outcome. It's just an outcome. There's nothing we can do to predict that outcome. So why should we be fearful of it? So those are three types of different types of pain. And these are the three types of pain that I'm sure some of you are experiencing when you're starting a practice. Is number one, loss pain. What if I lose my benefits? What if I lose my steady paycheck? Number two is process pain. Change is hard. This process is going to be hard. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to work really hard to make my practice successful. Oh my gosh, my family and I are going to have to change around our finances in this process to make this a success. That's process pain. And then the third is outcome pain, where you're actually fearing the outcome of your practice, for instance. You're fearing that, oh my gosh, what if this isn't the outcome that I wanted? What if this doesn't turn out like I wanted? What if my practice a year from now isn't what I truly wanted? What if the grass isn't greener on the other side? And again, these are all things that we honestly cannot worry about, right? But it's hard. That's easier said than done. So there's a few things that I want you guys to understand, to take kind of note of to end this part. I want you guys to start learning to see change as a game. I said this earlier, but I want you guys to write this down. Learn to see change as a game. Change and challenge are good. Change and challenge are good and actually what we need to reach our best self. So change and challenge are actually what we need to reach our highest self, our best business owner self. Change and challenge are actually what we need to get there. And if we don't realize that, then we're going to have a lot of fear about the process, the loss, and the outcome of what we're going through when we're starting a business. But you need to realize that that challenge and those changes that are going to happen in your life are what are going to make you a better person, a better business owners and better business owner, and it's going to open up opportunities that you never thought would be possible in your life. I think for me, I didn't really even realize that some of these opportunities were going to come when I started my PT practice. But because I chose to put fear aside and choose faith and walk forward into what were my dreams at the time, so many things have opened up. I coach physical therapists on how to start their concierge practices now. I'm talking to you guys, other therapists that are trying to start their businesses. Other doors have opened for me just because I just chose to put fear aside and not listen to all that talk in my head. And so I want you guys to just remember, please remember, challenge is good. Challenge and change in your life will make you into the best person that you need to be to have a successful business. Does that make sense to everybody? Claire, thanks for joining. 4M, thank you for joining. Becky, Tracy, Trish, Christine, thank you for watching, everybody. So that is kind of the main part that I wanted you guys to understand about fear, is that we must overcome it in order to become the best person of ourselves. And I want to talk about the top thing that I hear most often is I'm going to lose my 401k and I'm going to lose my benefits. And I want to talk to you guys about that. I'm going to lose my benefits and I'm going to lose my 401k. But you're looking into business, into your own business for a reason, right? Whether you're miserable at your job, you want to be able to be paid more, you want to be compensated more for your time, you don't want to be able to trade time for money, you want to grow something that's going to be able to help you and your family in the future, you want to be able to treat patients more on your terms, you want to give patients better care. Like, I'm sure all those are things going on in your guys' heads. Those are a hell of a lot better reasons than benefits and 401k. Because you know why? Benefits and 401k are one of those excuses that we will use to say, hey, I need this. I need that safety. I just need it. I need that safety, so I just can't do it. I can't do it. Like, it's just not possible for me and my family because I just can't do it. Like, benefits and 401k are just too important, and it's going to make too big of a difference in my life. And really, that's just an excuse, because if you're able to start your business and affect patients in a better way, be compensated accordingly for that, and create a better future for your family, that sounds a lot better to me. I don't know about with you guys than hanging on to benefits and 401k. What do you think? Those reasons that I just listed: building a business for the future of your family, building a legacy, getting compensated better on an hourly basis, not trading time for money as much anymore because you're getting paid on a higher basis, treating patients on your terms, giving patients better care. To me, that sounds a lot better than hanging on to benefits and 401k. And so I think those two reasons are reasons not to do it, excuses not to do it. So let's come full circle. I want you guys to understand that fear is an excuse not to do something. Fear is our brain fabricating a biological process to tell us not to do something because it's trying to keep us safe. So you've got to be able to push past fear, and you've got to understand, just as Christine said, changes and challenge is what we need to reach our best selves, period. Christine says, we ask our children to stretch and grow, but we put so many self-limitations on ourselves, like you said, due to fear. I can't recap it any better. If any of you guys have kids, it's really struck me in the last 4 months. I wish I could show you guys my book, but on the first, basically, acknowledgments page, I have on there to my newborn son, Hudson, who's 4 months old. You are my motivation because I want to be able to show you what is possible in life. And so, Christine, you just you just summed it up. Like we've got to be able to push past our fears to number one. I mean, show our kids what's possible. Show our kids what is possible in their lives. And I'll even go off of this. I live in Littleton, which is 7 miles from Highlands Ranch. I don't know if you guys just saw what happened in Highlands Ranch, but it's only 7 miles from my house. We seem to have a problem with school shootings here in Colorado. And I don't know about y'all, but let me know if you're raising kids right now. Like I've got a 4-month-old kid in the other room, 4-month-old baby, and man, I'm worried about his generation. I want to be able to show him as much as I possibly can to help him to be successful in life, because I don't know. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that kids are shooting up schools. Like I want to be able to show him what's possible and what he can do in his life to guide him in the right direction. And I think for us as parents, even if you don't have kids, that was just an example. Even if you don't have kids, we've got to be able to push past the fear and realize and understand that it's an excuse to not do something. So those of you that are coming in late, the 3 ways to overcome fear, 3 different things that I want you guys to write down. Number 1 is that understand that fear is an excuse not to do something. Number 2, commit to your fear. Commit that you're going to overcome your fear. And then number 3, take action as quickly as you possibly can. The quicker that you take action on something, the more likely you're going to have less fear over that issue. So if you take action quickly in your business, you're going to have less time to come up with more fearful thoughts in your mind. All right. So that's the main thing that I wanted to give you guys today, because that has, I know it's simple, but it significantly helped me to just like this shirt says, to cross out fear in my life and just keep pushing, because I understand that it's just my brain trying to keep me safe. And honestly, life is just a game. We've got to be able to do things and make sometimes a bold move or a slightly risky move to get what we want in life, right? If you're playing Monopoly, how many of you guys just play it safe the entire time? You're using Monopoly money, you're using all of that type of thing. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just a game. Of course, we want to win the game if you're competitive like me, but it's just a game. Like, you're gonna go risk forward with that game to win, right? I'm not telling you guys to go 100% all in on risk. I'm just saying that sometimes in life we have to be able to be a little bit risky to get what we want in life. And for me, I know, and for a lot of you that are on, starting a practice was not easy for me. But even a year into that, I'm about 3 years into it now, but even a year into my practice, I saw what it was creating in my life, like the difference it was creating in my life, the difference it was making in my wife and I's relationship, because I actually had time to spend with her and I wasn't doing documentation. The difference that it was making in our relationship, and not having as much stress financially, because we're a 2 physical therapist household, and all our marriage has known up until the point of me starting a business was financial stress. Believe it or not, financial stress. And I think it's something that a lot of us physical therapists deal with on a regular basis. So that's why I told you guys from the very start, I wanted to talk about why I believe, and I know this is a profound statement, but why I believe that physical therapy as a profession is currently setting us up for failure with the high amounts of student loans that students are coming out with. And then, so student loans going up like this, education costs going up like this, and then salaries for PT positions doing this. That's dangerous. It's dangerous. And I want more PTs to understand what's going on. So again, it's not to be negative about it. It's just to be realistic and understand that that is what's going on. That is what's going on. So the best thing that you guys can do is take it seriously and take it into your own hands and start your business and work towards making a profitable and successful business. And that's what I'm here to continue to teach you guys about on a weekly basis. So let me know if this has been helpful in the comments. If you liked it, give me a like. If you loved it, give me a love, and give me some comments. I want to hear if you guys have any questions. I'm on here. Let's see. I don't have my podcast for 20 minutes, so I'm willing to answer some questions. Let's just see here. All right. My computer's lagging a little bit, but let me know if you guys have any questions. Like I said, I've got about 15 to 20 minutes before I jump on a podcast, and would love to answer some questions for you guys. Sharon, you got any questions? Leangelo, thanks for joining. Let me know if you've got any questions. Claire, does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, guys, as always, enjoy doing this with you guys. I hope you found it helpful. For me, this was a great way to be able to break down fear and why I had it. Um, let's see. There's a question. Christine's got a question. Do you do any mindfulness or manifestation activities to get in a good mindset? Um, I don't. I don't. I think things like meditation are great. I think the number one thing that both my wife and I do is just encourage each other to be as positive as possible on a regular basis. I think again, life is all about who you surround yourself with, and I would love to be on like a schedule of like meditation because I think it's great, and even mindfulness and manifesting things into your life. I think the main way that I manifest things into my life is just set really really good goals. I've got a um, I've got a board right over here in my office that has consistently always distinct 1 year goals, 2 year goals, 5 year goals, and 10 year goals. It's a huge, huge board in here that I always have on there to always make me mindful of what my goals are. And I truly feel like if you're always mindful of your goals, Christine, that's when things manifest into your life. In fact, I don't think I've ever told this group. I've told my coaching group this before. My second year in business, I did something that was a lot like this. That Christine. Actually, in fact, hey, I've got it. Let me show you guys something. This is crazy. I kept this for a reason. It's in my desk drawer. I put this check in my wallet. My second year of business. I had a goal of making an income of $150,000 in my second year of business. I know, lofty goal. I thought it was pretty dang lofty at the time too, but I was like, hey, I got to push myself. I got to push myself to do something. I want to be in that top 1% of PTs, which if you guys don't know, the top 1% basically make above a 138 a year. So I set out the goal. I was like, all right, I want to be in the top 1% of PTs in regards to earnings per year. I think that would change my family and I's life. And so I put that check in my wallet. I looked at it every single time I opened it. I thought about it almost every single day that was my goal. That was my goal. I got to figure out how to get there. And, I'll just be honest. I don't mind talking about money. I'm not embarrassed to talk about it anymore like I once was. 2 years out of school, you couldn't even catch me telling somebody my salary. Like, I don't know why, as a physical therapy profession, we're like scared to talk about money. It's oh my gosh, I don't want to ask that person how much they make. Oh gosh, that's not a conversation that you want to have. And so that was me, but now I don't care. So I carried that thing around in my wallet for an entire year. That's why it looks so battered and ratty. And my second year of business was 152,000. And so that was the first time in my life that I was like, I think this manifestation thing is like very real. You put your mind to something and it's amazing how you can create it. So I don't, but the main thing that I do is set distinct goals, Christine, and consistently on a regular basis, my wife and I just try to continue to remind each other to be as positive as possible. I know that's not always easy. We're not like, I don't want you guys to think like we're just like picture perfect and never say anything wrong. That's crap. Like we've got to continually remind each other and work on being positive on a regular basis. So, any other questions? That was a good question. Christine, do you do mindfulness and manifestation? Does anybody else do anything like that to help get into a good mindset? I want to hear. I'm interested. I want to know what you guys do. Obviously, I've found things that have worked for me, but it doesn't make it perfect for everybody. So let me know, Christine. And does anybody have any other questions at all? Going once. Come on. There's got to be another question going twice. Christine, you do some mindfulness. Awesome. Let us know what you do. Let us know what you do on a regular basis. I think everybody would probably like to know. All right, going 3 times. Any questions? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining every single week. You guys are awesome. Please let me know if there's topics you want me to talk about on a weekly basis. I'd love to answer those and address those to the best of my ability. So you guys have a great night. Have a good end of your week. And happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. See ya. Thanks for watching.